Hey guys, I'm Mr. Deathbreath, and I do spoiler-free film
What are you
reviews.
doing, Sammy? Why are you trying to steal my show?
Hey, you were taking too long.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mr. Deathbreath, where I do spoiler-free film reviews and sometimes celebrity interviews. So, let's talk about American Satan. Okay, so the good, right off the bat, Malcolm McDowell. You know him from Rob Zombie's Halloween reboot. He played Dr. Loomis. He does a fantastic job. In addition, Andy Biersack, if you don't know who he is, you're not alone. He's from that metal band Black Veil Brides. This film, aside from those performances, was also the fact that they constantly draw the fact that the devil's connected to everything. They make references to the fact that Apple sold its first computer for $666.66. It really adds to the world. It really draws you in with the fact that these are based off real things, or like references to the Beatles and Aleister Crowley. It really adds realism to the fact that you're not just watching a movie, but you're watching a movie that actually has truth to things while pulling from actual facts from reality, which is really fantastic.
I'm Sammy Ruiz, and this is the good about American Satan that I thought. I really did like how they used the Robert Johnson story. They kind of made it into their way, I guess. Malcolm McDowell, I really liked his performance. Hey guys, so American Satan, the bad. What I thought was bad about this movie. For one, the majority of the acting was pretty bad. And two, being a musician myself, I thought a lot of the cliches about music and the music life were pretty fake. I really didn't like that, and I didn't really think it was true.
Okay, so Sammy was merciful with his bad. So let's get into the bad. Okay, so where do I begin? This whole thing feels like a made-for-TV movie right off the bat. It has those little wailing guitar solos, and I'm like, what am I watching? A made-for-TV Lifetime movie about people selling their souls to the devil? Gosh, it's very gratuitous. It's one of those movies that feels like, this is a dark movie about the devil and doing drugs, so we're gonna make everything seem dark and about the devil doing drugs, to the point that it almost becomes a mockery of itself. Instead of it being a legitimate movie that dealing with people dealing with this potential supernatural situation, it feels more like a movie about people thinking they're cool in a movie dealing with people with supernatural situations. It just feels kind of silly. In addition, oh gosh, you remember The Dirt? If you saw that, it's the story about Motley Crue. Well, that felt genuine and intense, and it had an interesting journey. This was like the bad version of The Dirt. The characters weren't interesting, minus Malcolm McDowell's character. The acting was pretty bad. It was really boring. I remember as Sammy and I were watching it, I went to go get some coffee, we paused the movie, and it was halfway through, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's halfway through? It had another hour and 25 minutes to go. I felt like I sat through a 4-hour movie in the course of an hour and 52 minutes. I mean, this is just a terrible film. It really is. And I'm sorry, Sammy, that you had to watch it. I'm sorry to myself that I had to watch it, because I lost valuable time I'm not going to get back. Hey guys, so I'm here with Sammy Ruiz, amazing artist, musician, tattoo collector. So what did you think about the movie?
Well, yeah, I kind of liked how they used the Robert Johnson story about selling your soul to the devil. But yeah, the majority of the acting was pretty bad. I thought they had a good cast with Malcolm McDowell. He's a really good actor, I think. But yeah, the cliches with music, being a musician myself, a lot of that stuff isn't true. So
yeah, Malcolm McDowell was the best part about the movie, and the problem is that he was barely in the movie.
Yeah.
And it was just... Guys, long story short, this is two different opinions. And we're both saying the same thing, which is this movie sucked.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a rating. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 0 out of 10. Because it's rare that I watch a film and I wish I was not watching the film. Watching the film makes me feel like I've been sitting around doing nothing all day. And that's not how I should feel. So I'm going to say skip it, don't see it, don't rent it, don't watch it, don't waste your time with it. If you're really that curious, look up the spoiler. And really, the best things about the movie, we really said it. So, what's your rating, Sammy?
Yeah, you know, I'll probably give it a 1 out of 10.
Woo!
Because not only did they cast Malcolm McDowell, but they also cast the dude from the Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, Mark Boone Jr.
Yeah.
He plays Piney, or I don't know.
I forget his name in the show. But I thought that was cool that they casted him, and they... but yeah, that's probably why I'll give it a 1 out of 10.
Okay guys, so if you're here and you're still watching this video, which you are because you're awesome, you may know who Sammy Ruiz is. He's an amazing guy. I did an interview with him at Spook Show. He's an amazing artist. He does watercolor, correct?
I do, I use primarily markers.
Primarily markers. It looks like watercolor. He does amazing, amazing artwork, which I'll be posting some of these. He actually gave me a really incredible framed artwork which has Twisty the Clown. It has Pennywise the Clown, and it has Captain Spaulding, which I'll be posting. Amazing. So let's get into this. So, what came first? Were you Sammy the musician or Sammy the artist?
I would say, well, probably music, if I were to think of it in terms of taking it serious and kind of pursuing the business aspect of it. I started playing music when I was about 13 or 14. I started playing drums in a punk band, and I picked up the guitar. Then I started with the band that I'm in, the Bad Luck Bandits, when I was in junior high school. Then we really pursued the music business of it and treated it like a business. But with art, I would say I've been doing it, I started probably about 5 years. I mean, I've been drawing all my life, but I really pushed the business aspect of it within the last 5 years.
Wow, so have you used your artwork to promote your band? Like would you make logos for your bands when you were growing up?
Yeah. A lot of the t-shirt designs that we used when we were first starting, some of the album pictures that we used were all hand-drawn pictures that I drew.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what inspires the music you play?
In regards to the music, I thought it was, when I started playing, I loved punk rock. I was into Social Distortion. I really liked the Mike Ness solo stuff, and that's what kind of gave it my music, the western side, I think, is like that old 1940s, 50s country with a punk rock edge. So I think, yeah, those two things really inspired how we played and how we sound.
Awesome. And you know what I love? You know Nick 13 from Tiger Army?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you really kind of like, I can't explain it, you kind of have that vibe with your sound, which is awesome. You know? You kind of like that with a little bit of dash of Mike Ness. Like, you managed to capture both those elements and just made it your own thing. Yeah. Which is incredible.
Yeah, Nick 13 he's awesome. Not only do I like Tiger Army, but Nick 13 put out a solo record that I thought was really, really good. That really did inspire the way I play now. Super good.
So do you listen to lots of country?
You know, I listen to, Hank Williams, like the senior. He's one of my favorites, old Hank Williams. Johnny Cash, of course. But I like a lot of the newer stuff, too. The newer underground stuff. Like Hank Williams III, what Mike Ness does. I love all that stuff.
That's awesome.
Bluegrass, yeah.
So stepping away from the music, what inspires the art you do? Because your art is amazing and unique. And I love that everything, it has its own distinctive color. Like, one thing to know that what Sammy Ruiz does is he'll go and get animals. He'll get like an elephant, and then he'll put it in a band shirt, and he'll create a fictitious band, and it'll have its own unique vibe. And it's just, it's really awesome what you do. It's incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, when I first started, I really liked like the mashups, the mashup art. So I would draw Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck and or Felix the Cat, and I drew him like in a Rude Boy suit. So I like that kind of stuff. But recently I started drawing, my own versions of my own characters. Like I drew a version, these 3 characters called the Sea Punks.
I remember that.
Yeah.
One of the seahorses.
Yeah. So they're wearing punk rock shirts. But yeah, it's kind of strange. A little bit of lowbrow kind of art, but I do like the old school kind of stuff.
I disagree. It's not lowbrow. Your art is amazing.
Thank you.
Honestly, it really is amazing. And it's its own unique brand of it. You know what I mean? Like, I think lowbrow art would be like people that paint with fecal matter. So, what you do is, your art is incredible. I had to interject, but continue, sorry.
Yeah, and I take a lot of inspirations and I put them together. For one, of course, you could see the inspiration of Tim Burton, of course. But I really like Mark Davis. Mark Davis was an animator at Disney. He drew a lot of concept drawings for the Pirates of the Caribbean. But I'm obsessed with him. Ed Roth, I really like his cool creations, a hot rod culture.
I can see that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you a question. So you're always at these conventions, these horror conventions. So how does the horror community, horror music, horror movies, how do those things inspire the art you do, from your music to your paintings? Yeah,
well, for one, with the horror conventions, before I started doing the shows, I'm a huge fan of all the stuff. So I would go to all these shows of Monsterpalooza and Midsummer Scream. I watch scary movies daily, weekly. But yeah, I think with reading as well. Like my favorite writer is H.P. Lovecraft. His stories really inspire me. Cthulhu, huge inspiration on me. But yeah, I think I get inspiration from all those 3 things. The books, the movies, and just seeing other artists too. I'm really inspired by the artists that I do shows with.
So you're going to be attending Midsummer Scream. Am I mistaken with that?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there this year.
So let me ask you a question. How did that start? Because I know there's always like a christening period, if you would call it, where you're kind of having a difficult time getting your foot in. So how did it go that you started as a guy that plays cool music to a guy that does good art to now becoming a person that's a vendor at these cool events that you used to attend? How did that happen? What's the story with that?
Good question. I mean, I could think for sure. I could think a lot of other artists that I do shows with. For being a big shout out to my buddy Oscar Navarro of the Art of Sketch. He's the first.
Oh, he's amazing. I have some of his stuff in my house.
He's the first dude that allowed me to do art shows. So because of him, I owe him a lot. But yeah, different artists like Steffi's Doodles. But I think one, networking and meeting some of these people really helps. But also too, like when you apply for some of these bigger shows, they take a look at your website or your Instagram, but it has to look professional, and they probably want to see consistency too. And that's one thing. My art is probably not the best, but I am pretty hard working.
Again, I disagree. I'm sorry. I can't let you tear yourself down. And I'm not trying to be mean, but you can't tear yourself down. No, like your art is awesome, dude. It is so great. Like, I mean, guys, just to give some context here. I see him at Spook Show, and I see people gathering around his table. I mean, his stuff is awesome. It has this little bit of a Tim Burton-inspired vibe with like big eyes and pale skin, and it's incredible. It's timeless, really. So honestly, your work is not lowbrow. Your work is fantastic.
Thank you.
So that's interesting. So what was your first experience like working at one of those events versus now? Now that you have a following and your music career is budding and your artwork's getting bigger, how does it vary?
The experience, wow, I think some of the first experiences were really overwhelming. Because I think a lot of these artists that I do shows with are equally artists and business people. Like, you have to promote yourself, you have to sell yourself. That was really hard for me. For one, I get really shy. I don't really know what to say when people come up to my table. So it was overwhelming. Like, I learned quick that you have to be good at both of those things. But I think, yeah, with anything, I think just as you keep doing them, the better you're going to get.
Awesome. Okay, so now let's take it to a fun area. What's the worst experience you've had as a musician? Like with a crowd or with anything? Just...
oh, shoot, that's a good question. I mean, some people might say, we used to play a lot of punk rock shows.
Oh, no.
And we played one, I think it was in the South Bay somewhere. But yeah, we were playing, and when I remember clearly, as I'm playing, we see a chair fly across the room. And long story short, there's guns that are drawn.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're hiding behind our equipment. It gets crazy. Or we started playing music in where we're from in Northeast LA. We started playing backyard gigs with punk rock bands or heavy metal bands, thrash bands. So yeah, there's dudes that would get stabbed, but at the same, they were crazy experiences, but they were also equally fun. But for the bad, I don't know. I'm pretty optimistic. I'm trying to think of any bad experiences. We've played to literally the bartender, know people at the show. I don't know. I try to treat every experience like something I can learn from, so I'm not sure there is a real bad one.
Guys, do you want to be that positive? Because that's crazy. like, you know, someone getting stabbed if I was playing a show and guns being drawn and me hiding behind my equipment would be enough to be like, yeah, we're never going to play there again. But you're just like, hey, man, it's part of the rise, dude. Yeah. It's good. That's an amazing attitude. Yeah. Okay, so here's the flip side. What was a bad experience with your art? Have you ever had any situations where you just didn't like it?
With the art stuff, bad experiences. Man, well, you know, I think as I started doing some more of these shows, there'd be, I think, not that I'm anything special or anything big, but when the more shows you do, the more eyes that are on you, the more criticism you're going to get. So you get a lot of people trying to tell you what to do, and sometimes I take that feedback, like, all right, what are they telling me? Can I use that in a positive way, or are they just hating just to hate? So some of those things, I don't know. You're going to get some negative attention when there's more eyes on you. But with, if there's one negative thing I could say about art, I would say it's probably lugging around all that stuff. It's equally with music, I think. Carrying around all those amplifiers, and at the end of the night or at the end of the day, you're exhausted, you're tired. So it's a lot of work, and I give my hats off to all the artists and musicians out there that do all that work, because it's a lot, I know.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Gosh, especially carrying like those giant cabinet speakers and everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Okay, so where do you see yourself in 10 years with your music and with your art? What would you like to achieve in the coming future with both those?
With art and music? Well, to start with art, I would love to... Because with art, I write as well, so I want to start doing like books. I have ideas to do books about kind of like the scary stories to tell in the dark, where I write a lot of short stories.
I'll buy that.
Yeah, and I do illustrations to go along with the books. But that's one of my big goals, to keep doing some more of these shows and to progress with my style. I think if you were to look at my drawings, you probably do see a lot of the inspiration, like Mark Davis, Tim Burton, Ed Roth. But yeah, I want to keep developing my own characters and pretty much eventually end up with my own villains, my own good guys, and just kind of make maybe little animations.
The Sammyverse.
Yeah, exactly, the Sammyverse.
That's awesome. Watch out, Marvel.
And actually a big inspiration to me, that person that already does this is my dear friend Lizzie Falcon. I work with Lizzie Falcon. She's an artist. I work with her. I do the music for the movies, a little movie that we're doing called The Broken Ones. They're like little 5-minute short films that we put up on YouTube. But Lizzie's already done all this. Lizzie's already created her villains, her good guys. Now I'm helping her, do the music for this, and it's amazing. She's a huge inspiration.
I apologize. I completely forgot that you compose.
Yeah,
which is amazing, because you've done some amazing pieces. I forgot. And I do want to add one thing real quick. One thing that Sammy did is he ended up narrating a story, and it was pretty incredible. He posted it on Instagram.
Yeah.
And you have such a deep, almost like that deep, I don't know what the word is, baritone or?
Yeah, the baritone.
A baritone voice that if you don't succeed at art or music, you could be a radio DJ. Like, you have that silky smooth boop boop voice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, at home I have a recording studio, a little poor man's recording studio. So yeah, I'll narrate some of these short stories that I write and stuff. But yeah, with Lizzie, again, she's a huge inspiration with all that stuff. But Lizzie she was a fan of my band, the Bad Luck Bandits, and she had contacted me asking if I could do some of the music for her for her little films. So we've never met. She lives out in Georgia.
Oh wow!
So I feels like we're best friends, but we talk on the phone. So yeah, we went back and forth, and I started composing the music for her, and it's been awesome. We have a great relationship in regards to the communication, and she'll start a sentence, and I'll finish that sentence.
Oh wow!
But yeah, as far as the sound of the music, I think she's pretty happy with it. But it's been fun. But it's called The Broken Ones, and you can catch it on YouTube. Yeah,
what can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, what's the plot? What's the story?
Yeah, the plot, the main character is a little girl named Millie Sear. And actually, my daughter, Lola, she does the voice of Millie Sear.
Oh, so it's animated?
Yeah, it's all animated.
Oh, wow.
All
okay,
animated.
Awesome.
So Millie, she's going through these trials in her life, which kind of, I think, reflect everyday trials that people go through. We got villains in the film that try to, block her from progressing in her life and stuff. They're cool. They're 5 minutes. They're short, but we have about, I believe, 6 films out so far. So the story just continues with each 6 films.
Oh, and you've been doing the music for each one?
Yes, I started with the first, and we're working on the 7th now.
So how do you go about making music for each scene? Like, how do you go about setting the scene with your music?
I start composing the music before the animation even starts.
Interesting.
Yeah, Lizzie and I will talk, and we'll just kind of bounce ideas back and forth. And she's like, you know what, I have this scene. She kind of tells me what she's going to animate, and I just start hearing sounds. I'm like, okay, that kind of sounds like this, or maybe some old time ragtime music, or something like that. That sounds like Danny Elfman. I think if you really listen to this music, it does sound a little like Danny Elfman. Big inspiration. I love Oingo Boingo.
He's awesome. I mean, you know what he does when you hear it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So, what's next? What events do you have coming out? Where can people find you? Where can people buy your art? Tell us the skinny.
In regards to events, I have, starting with music, I'm playing on June 29th, I'll be in Northridge. I got the information on my music page, Sammy Ruiz Music. I'm going to be playing in the South Bay in July with Elvis Cortez of Left Alone.
Oh, I know that band because I lived in Downey, so they were running around with like Schism and other bands like that.
Yeah. Left Alone's old school. They're Southern California. But yeah, it's going to be with Elvis Cortez of Left Alone, one of the dudes from TSOL. I'm going to be playing. It's a solo show, but with Art, I'm going to be over at Midsummer Scream. That's in August, and also Spooky Expo 2. That's going to be in October.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much for being here, coming down here,
of course,
being on the channel. I'm sorry that we saw that terrible movie. I really apologize because I feel like if I was suffering, I'm sure you were too.
No, well, I try to be positive, and I was watching the movie, and I'm like, okay, what's the good stuff? So Malcolm McDowell, he's pretty cool. So I'm like, all right, that's the positive there.
Guys, Sammy Ruiz, artist extraordinaire, music composer, amazing painter, artist, fantastic musician. Guys, check him out. I will be tagging him, guys. I will be tagging the Broken Ones and Lizzie Falcon. Guys, Sammy Ruiz.